Urgent, surprising news about Deandre Ayton, the new Lakers signing. Stay until the end to find out everything, but first leave your like and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any Lakers news. Deandre Ayton arrived in Los Angeles not as a superstar, but as a man on a mission. After a turbulent stint with the Portland Trail Blazers, one that never quite lived up to the expectations, the 26-year-old center now had the rare opportunity to start fresh. The Lakers, a franchise synonymous with greatness, gave Ayton not only a contract but a challenge, prove that he belongs among the elite. The announcement of his signing stirred debates across the basketball world. Fans were divided. Some saw potential. Others saw risk. But one person who didn't hesitate in his belief was former NBA champion Mychal Thompson. "I believe Deandre was a brilliant pickup," said Thompson during a local radio interview. "He's the kind of big man who can thrive in today's game, not just a rim runner but someone who can finish inside and hit mid-range shots. And with someone like Luka Doncic running the offense, Ayton could be the perfect pick-and-roll partner." Ayton's talents have never been the issue. From his college days in Arizona to being drafted first overall in 2018, scouts praised his agility, size, and soft touch around the basket. But what haunted him wasn't what he lacked physically, it was the inconsistency in his effort, particularly on the defensive end. Coaches and teammates alike had questioned his urgency and commitment at times. Still, Thompson remained optimistic. "Sure, people are skeptical. I get it," he said. "But I've seen what he's capable of. He's got all the tools to be great. The question is, does he want it badly enough now? Wearing purple and gold changes your mindset. There's pride and weight to this jersey. If he embraces that, I truly think he'll flourish." Thompson wasn't new to praising Ayton. Back in 2018, he publicly supported the Suns' decision to take Ayton over Luka Doncic and Trae Young. While that call has been debated for years, Mychal never wavered in his stance that Deandre had the potential to be an all-star caliber player. "I saw flashes of David Robinson in him when he was a rookie," Thompson said. "Strong, mobile, skilled. But intensity, that's what makes a great center legendary. And that part? It's always been up to him." Ayton now finds himself at a crossroads. No longer the young prospect with limitless upside, he's instead a veteran with something to prove. The Lakers didn't bring him in to be a savior. They brought him in to contribute, to fit within a system, and most importantly, to compete on both ends of the floor. What makes this opportunity different is the environment. In Phoenix and Portland, Ayton had flashes of brilliance but also stretches where he disappeared. In Los Angeles, with a team featuring Luka Doncic, LeBron James, Austin Reeves, and Rui Hachimura, there's no hiding. Every possession matters, every mistake is magnified, and every success is celebrated. Thompson was clear about what Ayton's focus should be. "He's not here to be the number one option," he explained. "He doesn't have to score 25 a night to be impactful. If he can dominate the paint, protect the rim, and crash the boards with intensity, the offense will come naturally. Luka and LeBron will handle the scoring when needed. Deandre needs to become the defensive heartbeat of this team." For Ayton, this season is about more than stats. It's about effort, reputation, redemption. He's no longer the face of a rebuild, he's a piece of a contender. That alone comes with expectations few other franchises can match. But that's exactly what makes this opportunity so valuable. If Deandre Ayton can rise to the occasion, it won't just revive his career. It might finally unlock the potential that scouts, coaches, and fans saw in him from day one. From the moment Deandre Ayton stepped into the Lakers training facility in El Segundo, there was an unspoken tension in the air, the kind that comes with playing for a franchise steeped in legacy. The banners overhead were a reminder that this wasn't Phoenix or Portland anymore. Here, mediocrity wasn't tolerated. Every player wore the weight of history on their shoulders. For Ayton, the challenge wasn't just physical, it was mental. He was no longer the young center learning the ropes. This time he had to earn his place in a locker room full of proven names. Luka Doncic had taken on a leadership role that balanced creativity and command. LeBron James, still a presence even as he edged toward the twilight of his career, was respected like royalty. Everyone had a role. Everyone was expected to deliver. Head coach Darvin Ham made it clear from day one. "DeAndre's here to do the dirty work," he said in a press conference. "He's got the tools. He's got the body. Now it's about doing it every night, protecting the rim, controlling the paint, setting hard screens, running the floor. We're not asking him to be a 30-point scorer. We're asking him to be a warrior." That message echoed throughout the preseason. During scrimmages, Ayton was pushed hard by assistant coaches, challenged by teammates, and observed closely by the front office. The Lakers weren't just evaluating his skill, they were testing his mindset. And slowly things began to shift. In practices, Ayton hustled for loose balls. He communicated more on defense. He stayed after hours for extra work with the staff. Veterans on the team took notice. LeBron was the first to offer vocal support during a closed session, calling Ayton's intensity night and day from what he'd seen in previous matchups. But old narratives die hard. The media, always hungry for storylines in Los Angeles, still questioned whether Ayton could maintain his effort once the season began. Critics brought up his inconsistency in Phoenix, the missed rotations, the body language, the quiet games and big moments. Ayton, for his part, remained silent. He didn't respond to criticism with words. Instead, he focused on his preparation. Nutrition, conditioning, film study, everything mattered now. The Lakers staff was impressed with his willingness to adapt, to change habits that had long been questioned. One assistant coach remarked, "This isn't the same guy who came into the league thinking his size would be enough. He's learning how to work like a professional. And in LA, that's the only way you survive." Perhaps the biggest shift came in the way Ayton viewed himself. No longer chasing all-star votes or highlight reels, he began to focus on the intangibles. Boxing out, rotating on time, being the anchor on defense. He wasn't trying to be the best player on the floor, he was trying to be the most dependable. That change in mindset didn't go unnoticed by Michael Thompson either. "I've been watching him," Thompson said in a podcast interview. "You can tell he's locked in differently. He understands the opportunity in front of him. This isn't just another team, this is the Lakers. If he plays it right, this city will love him." Ayton wasn't looking for love though. He was looking for validation, proof that he could belong on a team chasing a title. He'd been labeled a disappointment by some, a soft big man by others. Now he wanted to rewrite that narrative not with flash but with fire. As the preseason drew to a close and the regular season neared, one thing became clear: DeAndre Ayton had something to prove. Not to the fans. Not to the press. To himself. The regular season opener was more than just a game for DeAndre Ayton. It was a statement. The bright lights of Crypto.com Arena were aimed directly at him. Fans filled the stands with their usual blend of hope and scrutiny. For the Lakers, the mission was clear: start the season strong. For Ayton, it was about silencing doubts. Their first opponent? The Denver Nuggets, the reigning champions. Nikola Jokic, the league's most creative big man, stood on the other side of the court. It wasn't just a test of strength, it was a test of basketball IQ, patience, and presence. For Ayton, there could be no better, or worse, measuring stick. The game tipped off with a crackling intensity. From the outset, Ayton was locked in. He wasn't trying to outscore Jokic, he was trying to disrupt him, get physical, make him uncomfortable. In the first few possessions, he contested shots, boxed out hard, and even ran the floor for an early dunk off a Luka Doncic assist. The crowd roared. It wasn't just the play, it was the energy. "He's playing with an edge tonight," a commentator noted. "You can see it in his body language." Ayton's stats in that first half weren't mind-blowing: 8 points, 7 rebounds, 2 blocks. But his impact went beyond numbers. He altered shots, communicated on defense, and didn't shy away from the challenge in front of him. Most importantly, he never looked passive. For once, he was the aggressor. Still, Jokic was Jokic. The Serbian MVP delivered his usual brilliance, finishing with a triple-double and keeping Denver within striking distance. But this time, Ayton didn't disappear in the second half. He dug in deeper. Late in the fourth quarter, with the score tied and under 2 minutes remaining, Ayton stepped up. After a defensive rebound, he sprinted the floor and sealed his man under the basket. Doncic found him with a bullet pass and Ayton finished through contact. One possession later, he swatted a Jokic hook shot, igniting a fast break that ended with a LeBron slam. The arena erupted. The Lakers pulled off a gritty win, and although Doncic and LeBron filled the box score, the post-game focus was on Ayton. Reporters surrounded him at his locker. He didn't boast. He didn't talk about shutting anyone down. Instead, he kept it simple. "I just wanted to play hard," he said. "Do my job. Help us win." The coaching staff, though, knew what they had just seen. Darvin Ham gave Ayton a long look during film review the next day and nodded. "This is who you can be. Every night." Michael Thompson, watching from the media area, was equally impressed. "Look," he told a reporter, "DeAndre doesn't need to dominate to matter. He just needs to be engaged like that every night. That's championship basketball." Ayton's teammates were starting to believe in him too. After the game, Luka Doncic praised him. "He played big tonight," Luka said. "We don't win that without him. It's just the beginning." And it was. But for Ayton, that one night felt like a breakthrough. Not because of the praise or the highlights, but because for the first time in a long while, he felt like he had control of his narrative. The win didn't erase his past struggles, but it opened a door, one he was now determined to walk through. The hard part wasn't proving he could have one great game. The hard part would be proving he could do it again. And again. And again. The NBA season is a marathon, not a sprint. And DeAndre Ayton had just taken his first strong step. Following his strong performance in the season opener, DeAndre Ayton started to earn something that had eluded him for a long time: trust. Trust from the fans. Trust from the coaching staff. Trust from his teammates. But even as the spotlight warmed him, a different kind of pressure began to mount, the pressure of consistency. The NBA schedule is relentless. After their win over Denver, the Lakers were immediately on the road for a 5-game stretch, facing tough opponents like Golden State, Memphis, and New Orleans. These were not just games, they were proving grounds. The second game of the road trip exposed an old, familiar crack. Against the Warriors, Ayton struggled. Draymond Green and Kevin Looney outworked him on the glass. He was late on switches. On offense, he hesitated, unsure when to roll, when to post, when to space the floor. The aggressiveness from opening night wasn't there. He finished with just 6 points and 5 rebounds in 26 minutes. The criticisms came back fast. Social media exploded with takes. Pundits questioned if Ayton's new focus was just another short-lived phase. The whispers returned, about effort, about urgency, about desire. Back in the locker room, Ayton sat quietly, scrolling through his phone before setting it down and staring into space. He knew this feeling too well, the high of a breakout performance followed by the low of a letdown. Coach Darvin Ham approached him after team meetings. "Bad nights happen," Ham said. "But we can't afford disappearing acts. You're not here to be perfect, you're here to be present." That hit Ayton hard. Presence had always been the missing link. Not talent. Not tools. Presence, the ability to impact a game even when shots weren't falling. Even when matchups weren't ideal. Even when things got uncomfortable. The next day, Michael Thompson made a rare appearance at practice. He didn't offer a speech. He didn't pull Ayton aside for a long talk. Instead, he gave him a short reminder as he walked by. Every great big man gets punched in the mouth. The ones who matter are the ones who punch back. Ayton nodded. The next few games showed progress, if not perfection. Against Memphis, he rebounded with 12 points, 11 rebounds, and 3 blocks. He looked more engaged, not dominant but focused. In New Orleans, he logged 16 points and 13 boards, playing with better pace and communication. The Lakers split those games and Ayton began to find a rhythm. It wasn't flashy, but it was steady. What made these performances different wasn't just the box score. It was the way Ayton carried himself. When he missed a rotation, he clapped his hands and talked through the coverage with teammates. When he got scored on, he didn't sulk, he sprinted back. These small moments didn't make highlight reels, but they mattered. LeBron, during a post-game interview, pointed that out. "DeAndre's doing the work," LeBron said. "You can see it. It's not just about stats. It's about owning your space." He's starting to understand that. The Lakers staff echoed those sentiments. In film sessions they showed clips of Ayton's box outs, his defensive slides, his vocal leadership, not his dunks or post-ups. That was the evolution they wanted. But progress is never linear. The final game of the road trip brought them to Minnesota, where Rudy Gobert awaited. Another elite defender. Another challenge. Ayton played well in stretches, but old habits crept in. Lazy fouls, frustration after missed calls, fading out of the offense when things got tough. The Lakers lost by 18. Ayton finished with 9 points and 6 rebounds. Back in the locker room there were no harsh words. No angry confrontations. Just silence, the kind that forces reflection. Ayton stayed behind after most of the team had left. He sat at his locker, replaying moments in his head. Missed opportunities. Mental lapses. That feeling of having done enough to not be terrible, but not enough to matter. This was the pattern he had to break. For the Lakers, inconsistency couldn't be part of their core. And for Ayton, inconsistency couldn't be part of his identity. Not anymore. He didn't need to be perfect every night. But he needed to be present. Locked in. Committed. Because in Los Angeles, second chances don't last forever. The Lakers returned to Los Angeles with a 3-2 record from their road trip. Not bad, but not the kind of start that screamed dominance. For Deandre Ayton, the early stretch had been a mixed bag. Flashes of brilliance followed by moments of disappearance. If anything, it mirrored his career arc so far, full of potential but still waiting for the switch to fully flip. As the team settled back into home routines, the coaching staff put new emphasis on consistency. Not just in Ayton's play but in his preparation. Every day mattered now, not just game nights. Practices, shoot-arounds, even walkthroughs were part of the grind. Darvin Ham made it clear in a team meeting. Championships aren't won in April or June. They're won in November, in the habits we form now. Ayton took those words to heart. He started arriving at the practice facility earlier than usual. Weight training. Individual defensive drills. Film study. He leaned heavily on Phil Handy, the Lakers development coach known for sharpening the edges of talented but incomplete players. You've got all the tools, Handy told him during a one-on-one session. Now you gotta become a craftsman. Ayton focused especially on his footwork, how to defend quicker guards on switches, how to position himself on pick and rolls, how to recover and contest without fouling. On offense he worked on simplifying his game, rolling hard, sealing deep, making quick reads. No more hesitating. No more floating. In the next few games that work began to show. Against the Sacramento Kings, Ayton battled Domantas Sabonis all night. He didn't dominate statistically, but he made Sabonis work for everything. He fought for position, contested every shot and grabbed 14 rebounds, including 5 on the offensive glass. The Lakers won in overtime. The following night, versus the Spurs, Ayton was even better. 20 points, 15 rebounds, 4 blocks. He was a force inside, altering shots, diving for loose balls and running the floor with purpose. The media narrative began to shift. He's not just showing up, he's buying in, one analyst noted on a national broadcast. This version of Ayton could be a game changer for the Lakers. Ayton, however, kept his head down. He wasn't interested in the praise anymore. He had learned, sometimes the hype burned hotter than the criticism. He wasn't trying to win over the headlines. He was trying to win within. That focus caught the attention of his teammates. Austin Reeves, in a post-game interview, said, "DA's energy is contagious. When he's locked in like that, it elevates the whole squad." But the most important development wasn't on the court. It was in Ayton's mindset. He started speaking up more in huddles, not just listening but leading. He encouraged rookies. He called out coverages on defense. He talked to Luka Doncic and LeBron James about positioning, about timing, about tempo. For the first time in a long while, Ayton wasn't just playing the game, he was understanding it. That change didn't go unnoticed by Michael Thompson either. "He's growing," Michael said during a halftime broadcast. "You can see it in how he talks. He's not thinking like a stat hunter anymore. He's thinking like a winner." Of course there were still bumps. A poor shooting night here. A missed rotation there. But what mattered now was how Ayton responded. He no longer disappeared for games at a time. Even when his offense wasn't clicking, he found ways to matter, with screens, with hustle plays, with second-chance efforts. And that, more than any 25-point performance, earned him something he had rarely had before: respect. The Laker fan base, notorious for its high standards, began to rally around him. Chants of Ayton echoed through the arena after big rebounds. Signs with his number appeared behind the bench. The skepticism hadn't vanished completely, but it had softened. Because now it wasn't just about potential. It was about production. About presence. About effort. The grind wasn't over. Far from it. The season was just heating up. But for Deandre Ayton, something had finally clicked. He wasn't chasing validation anymore. He was chasing impact. And for the Lakers, that made all the difference. December arrived with a chill in the air and a clear message in the Western Conference standings. Every game mattered. The Lakers were hovering near the top 5 but hadn't yet clicked into elite form. Expectations were rising, and with them, pressure. For Deandre Ayton, however, something felt different this time. He wasn't just going through the motions anymore. He was adapting, learning, growing. More importantly, he was competing, not just against opponents but against the narrative that had shadowed him since Phoenix. Still, the upcoming stretch would push him to his limits. The Lakers faced a brutal 6-game gauntlet. Milwaukee, Boston, Miami, Phoenix, Dallas, and the Clippers, all playoff-level teams. These games weren't just about standings. They were about identity. Ayton's first test came against the Bucks. He was matched up with Giannis Antetokounmpo, not a traditional big man, but one of the most physically imposing players in the league. The Lakers' game plan was to wall off the paint, and Ayton was the wall. He played smart, not reckless. He used his length, not just his strength. He slid his feet, contested without fouling, and fought for every rebound. Giannis still got his, he always does, but Ayton made him work for every bucket. The Lakers eked out a narrow win, and Ayton finished with 12 points, 13 rebounds, and 3 blocks. More importantly, he set the tone. Next came the Celtics. A nationally televised matchup. A rivalry game. And Ayton's chance to go head-to-head with Kristaps Porzingis, another big who stretched the floor and tested his perimeter mobility. Early in the game, Ayton struggled to close out on threes. He got caught in space. But in the second half, he adjusted. He played tighter, called switches quicker, and attacked the glass harder. He finished with a modest stat line, 9 points, 10 rebounds, but his defense helped slow the Celtics' high-powered offense when it mattered most. The Lakers won again. 2 wins. 2 battles. 2 steps closer to something real. But it wasn't all upward motion. The third game of the stretch came against the Miami Heat, and this time Ayton faltered. Bam Adebayo outworked him. He was slow on rotations. His body language slipped. It looked like a step back, not statistically but emotionally. After the game, Darvin Ham didn't sugarcoat it. "We need DA to stay sharp," he told the media. "He's shown us what he's capable of. We just need it every night." It was a reminder. One good week wasn't enough. Ayton needed to show he could withstand the grind. Then came the Phoenix game, a chance to face his old team. It was personal. The crowd in Phoenix booed him early loudly. Signs mocked his past. Social media lit up with comparisons between his current role and his former one. But Ayton didn't flinch. He played like a man with something to prove, not to the fans, not even to his old franchise, but to himself. He ran the floor. He set hard screens. He boxed out relentlessly. He dropped 18 points and 15 rebounds, and his energy lifted the entire Lakers bench. They didn't just beat Phoenix. They overwhelmed them. After the game, when asked how it felt to return, Ayton simply said, "It's just basketball now. I'm focused on where I am, not where I was." And he meant it. The Lakers followed that up with another strong outing in Dallas. Luka Doncic and Ayton found even better rhythm in their two-man game. Luka, always a brilliant passer, trusted Ayton more and more as a role partner, feeding him with lobs and pocket passes. Their chemistry was finally clicking. By the end of the 6-game stretch, the Lakers had gone 5-1. Ayton had averaged 13.6 points, 12.2 rebounds, and 2.1 blocks during that span, But the real story was his impact beyond the numbers. He was finally playing like a Laker. Not just wearing the jersey, embodying the toughness, the focus, the purpose that defined the team's history. In the locker room, there was a quiet moment between Ayton and LeBron James after the win over the Clippers. "You keep showing up like this," LeBron said, "and they'll stop talking about the old you." Ayton nodded. He wasn't chasing anyone's approval anymore. He was earning his place. The road ahead would only get harder. The playoffs loomed. But for the first time in years, Deandre Ayton wasn't just surviving the NBA. He was shaping his future in it. As the Lakers approached the midseason mark, the buzz around Deandre Ayton had transformed. No longer was he just a hopeful experiment or a player with untapped potential. He was becoming a dependable cornerstone of the team's core. This change didn't go unnoticed by fans, analysts, or teammates. Ayton's evolution was subtle but unmistakable. His minutes increased, and with that, so did the responsibilities placed on his shoulders. The coaching staff trusted him to anchor the defense, secure rebounds, and be a reliable scoring option when the offense needed balance. He was no longer the player who sometimes vanished in critical moments. He was the player who showed up consistently. The Lakers' offensive sets began to revolve around Ayton's strengths. Darvin Ham incorporated more pick-and-roll actions designed to get Ayton the ball in favorable positions. This strategic shift aimed to capitalize on his size and mobility while allowing stars like LeBron James and Luka Doncic to operate with greater freedom. Yet, with rising prominence came rising expectations. Critics watched closely for signs of regression or complacency, eager to point out flaws or missed opportunities. Ayton, however, remained unfazed. He embraced the pressure, understanding that the best players thrive not just on talent but on the ability to handle scrutiny. One particularly telling game came against the Phoenix Suns, his former team. The arena buzzed with anticipation, and social media lit up with comparisons and predictions. Ayton responded by delivering one of his most complete performances of the season, dominating the paint on both ends, grabbing crucial rebounds, and finishing with a double-double. His effort helped the Lakers secure a hard-fought victory and silenced many doubters. Off the court, Ayton's leadership qualities became more evident. Younger players sought his guidance, and he fostered a sense of camaraderie within the locker room. His willingness to learn and improve inspired teammates to elevate their own games. The road ahead remained challenging. Playoff battles, intense media scrutiny, and the ever-present pressure to perform loomed large. But Deandre Ayton was no longer just a player hoping to prove himself. He was a vital part of the Lakers' identity, poised to leave a lasting mark. As the season progressed deeper into January and February, the Lakers found themselves locked in a fierce battle for playoff positioning. Every game became a crucial test of resilience and skill, and Deandre Ayton was front and center in this fight. Ayton's growth was unmistakable. He had evolved from a player seeking acceptance into a leader demanding respect. His presence in the paint was intimidating. Opponents found it harder to score inside, and his rebounding effort denied second-chance points consistently. One game in particular stood out as a defining moment for Ayton and the Lakers. Facing the Denver Nuggets, the reigning champions and one of the toughest teams in the league, the Lakers needed a statement win. With the game tied in the final minutes, Ayton made a crucial block against Nikola Jokic, followed by a powerful putback dunk on the other end. That sequence swung momentum and energized the entire team. The Lakers clinched a narrow victory, and Ayton's performance drew praise from teammates, coaches, and the media alike. For the first time, Ayton wasn't just seen as a talented player. He was recognized as a difference maker. Off the court, Ayton's maturity continued to blossom. He took on a mentorship role with the team's younger big men, helping them navigate the demands of the NBA. His willingness to share knowledge and stay humble earned him respect in the locker room. Yet the season was not without setbacks. A minor ankle sprain sidelined Ayton for a few games, testing the Lakers' depth and resilience. During this period, the team struggled to maintain their defensive intensity, underscoring how vital Ayton had become. Upon his return, Ayton came back with renewed vigor, displaying a renewed focus on defense and communication. His increased vocal presence on the court helped orchestrate the team's defensive schemes more effectively. As the regular season neared its conclusion, Ayton's trajectory pointed toward one clear conclusion. He was becoming the player the Lakers had hoped for when they signed him. A strong defender, a reliable scorer, and a leader on and off the court. The future looked bright, but the biggest challenges, playoff battles and championship aspirations, were still ahead. As the regular season came to a close, the Los Angeles Lakers secured their spot in the playoffs, setting the stage for a high-stakes postseason battle. For Deandre Ayton, this was the moment to solidify his transformation from a promising player to a true impact contributor on one of the NBA's most storied franchises. The intensity ramped up immediately. Every possession mattered, every mistake was magnified. The pressure was unlike anything the regular season could offer. Ayton felt it deeply but embraced it, understanding that great players rise to the occasion. In the first-round series, Ayton faced some of the league's toughest big men. Each matchup tested his skills, conditioning, and mental toughness. He held his own against dominant centers, providing strong rim protection and aggressive rebounding. His offensive game adapted as well, finding open spots, making smart passes, and finishing around the rim under pressure. Throughout the series, Ayton showed remarkable composure. When the team struggled offensively, he focused on defense and hustle plays. When the offense clicked, he was ready to capitalize on second-chance points and pick-and-roll opportunities. His effort was consistent night after night. Teammates noticed the difference too. LeBron James, always a demanding leader, praised Ayton's improved mentality and toughness in post-game interviews. "Da's grown up a lot this season," LeBron said. "He's a big part of why we're still in this fight." The fans too began to embrace Ayton more fully. No longer viewed as a question mark, he became a symbol of the Lakers' resilience and grit. Social media buzzed with highlight reels of his blocks, rebounds, and hustle plays. Despite the team's ups and downs, Ayton's presence was a constant. He had become a key pillar in the Lakers' quest for another championship. But the postseason is a different beast, unforgiving and relentless. As the series progressed, Ayton knew the real test was ahead. Could he maintain this level of play against elite competition over multiple high-pressure games? The next rounds would reveal the true measure of his growth. The playoffs pushed Deandre Ayton to new heights. Every game was a battle, every possession a test of skill, endurance, and mental strength. This was the stage where legends are made, and Ayton was determined to leave his mark. Throughout the series, he showed the consistency and intensity that had eluded him in previous seasons. His defense was relentless, protecting the rim with authority. His rebounding was fierce, securing crucial boards at critical moments. Offensively, Ayton demonstrated a more refined game, making smarter decisions, hitting timely shots, and capitalizing on opportunities created by the team's stars. What stood out most was his leadership. Ayton wasn't just playing the game, he was commanding it. He communicated on defense, motivated teammates, and embraced the pressure instead of shrinking from it. In key moments, Ayton made game-changing plays. Whether it was a critical block, a clutch rebound, or a go-ahead basket, he showed up when it mattered most. His presence gave the Lakers confidence and stability. LeBron James and Luka Doncic acknowledged Ayton's impact publicly, praising his growth and dedication. The veteran star saw in him not only a teammate but a rising star who could carry the team's legacy forward. Though the Lakers faced fierce competition and challenges throughout the playoffs, Ayton's performance was a beacon of hope and progress. He had silenced many critics and shown that with hard work, determination, and belief, transformation was possible. As the Lakers looked ahead to future seasons, one thing was clear: Deandre Ayton had proven just how valuable he could be in Los Angeles. His journey from potential to proven performer was a testament to perseverance and passion. The city of Los Angeles had welcomed a new force in its quest for basketball glory, and Ayton was ready to lead the charge. With the playoffs behind them and a new season on the horizon, Deandre Ayton stood at a crossroads. No longer a young talent trying to prove himself, he had blossomed into a foundational player for the Los Angeles Lakers. His journey was a story of resilience, growth, and unwavering determination. Ayton's impact extended beyond stats and highlight reels. He had become a symbol of what hard work and dedication could achieve. Fans embraced him not only for his physical dominance but for the heart and leadership he displayed on and off the court. The Lakers front office recognized his value, committing to building around Ayton as a key piece of their future. Contracts, endorsements, and community outreach reflected the player he was becoming, a role model and a franchise cornerstone. But Ayton's focus remained steadfast: the championship. The ultimate goal that had fueled his efforts since day one in Los Angeles. He knew the road ahead would be challenging, filled with ups and downs, but his mindset was clear. Every game, every practice, every moment was an opportunity to write a legacy. As he looked around at the purple and gold, surrounded by teammates who believed in him, Ayton felt a sense of belonging and purpose. The city's bright lights and passionate fans were no longer an intimidating backdrop. They were his home. The chapter of proving himself was over. Now Deandre Ayton was ready to lead, inspire, and conquer. The legacy had only just begun.